This video is brought to you by the MTG Tutor, where good players get better. Hey guys, it's the MTG Noob here with a block deck tech. This is a homebrew of black-red control that I whipped up. This is going to be like a block deck tech and a block recap all in one, because I've played with the deck somewhat and you'll see the matches, but I want to let you know that I'll be telling you what I felt worked and what didn't work. Okay, so let's talk about the mana base. Playing 25 lands. The reason I'm playing so many lands is because we have Devil's Play, Bonfire, and a bunch of 5-drops and some 4-drops. So there's really no way for us to get these lands, so we have to kind of just play 25, which I feel is the right amount because of the fact that in a deck like this, I would say, want at least 25, maybe 26. Okay, so talking about the lands, we did a 7-7 split on swamps and mountains, which is completely wrong. The reason being that I'm playing 3 woodland cemeteries for the flashback on Ancient Grudge. So the first cut I would make is I would cut this swamp, add another woodland cemetery because I felt like the flashback was pretty relevant, and cut another swamp and add a mountain. So I'm not going to, I'll do that now. Okay, so we're back. So I made that change. I added another woodland cemetery and I added another mountain. And I feel that getting that triple red for Devil's Play was really important, and I was getting color screwed a lot. I'm not saying this is the solution, but I think it will help out. 3 to 4 woodland cemeteries. 3 is probably fine, but there's times where I do want the flashback. Okay, so now we're playing 8 mountains, 6 swamps, excuse me, 5 swamps, and 4 cemeteries. So we still have more black than red. So I could even see cutting one more swamp, but I don't want to go too crazy because you don't always draw them. Then I have 4 evolving wilds to fetch out the lands I need / thin the deck, and then 4 blood halls because sometimes you just run out of gas and you're pretty much just trying to kill everything and then burn them out. And this is a really good way to just kind of finish off the job. Okay, so that's the mana beast. Maybe one more mountain sands, one more swamp or cemetery. Okay, we'll talk about our burn and our removal as separate things. So first, we'll talk about our removal. We have 4 Tragic Slip, which is really good against the aggro decks. I would totally leave that. Then we have 3 Sever the Bloodline. The reason I'm playing 3 and not 4 is because I'm playing 4 Barter and Bloods. So 4 Barter and Bloods. All these numbers to me seem fine. I think they're okay. And then I'm playing 4 Curse of Death's Hold, just in the main, just to really stick it to any creatures. So 4 Slips, 3 Severs, 4 Barters, and 3 Curse of Death's Holds. Now, I felt like these numbers were all correct for what you want to do. You can obviously swap out a Sever in exchange for a barter. So you could play 4 Severs, but I do have the 4th Sever in the board. You are playing a lot of high drops and a lot of removal, so killing things should not be a problem. Now, your creature base is just 4 Bloodgift Demons. I wanted to play with certain other creatures, but I felt the Bloodgift Demon did a lot of things that the deck needed. First, it's pretty hard to kill a Bloodgift Demon with 4 Toughness. Second, it does draw you an extra card a turn, so it is some form of card draw. And third, it is a clock in its own right. I mean, 4 swings from it and just kills you. Unfortunately, what I found with the Bloodgift Demon was that you were kind of sitting there and people were stockpiling removal against you. So when you played this, they just killed you. Also, if they had a tribute to hunger, it was really counterproductive because them gaining 4 life is pretty relevant. Okay, let's talk about our burn. We have 4 Pillar of Flames, which is necessary. It hardly goes to the head, but it is a shock if you need it. But killing like Messenger and things that come back is really important. Plus, killing early drops in humans is crucial. Then 4 brimstone volleys. I wasn't really getting people for 5 with this, but it was pretty necessary, especially at, like, taking down Hellrider. It's really hard to get this up to 5 unless they kill something and then you respond, because you only have your tragic slips and your pillars, and outside of that, everything else is really hard to cast. It'll cost you 7 mana to deal 5 damage. Then you have your 4 Devil's Play, which is pretty much the main spell in this deck. You need it. The flashback's really good, which is why I upped the mountain count. And then your bonfire exams, which, I'm running 4, but I am kind of surprised that they've been a little bit lackluster. So maybe this should go down to 3 instead of 4. But I'm not actually going to cut anything for it because I didn't really need, to really bring anything in. So these 5 cards I would probably change if I really had to play the deck again. I'd probably keep some amount of Bloodgift Demons. The only other spell I was considering is probably Gristlebrand, and Gristlebrand is pretty sexy but costs 8 and doesn't automatically win you the game because you're going to run into the same stockpiling of removal spells problem that happens with the Bloodgift Demon, and it comes out way earlier. I also thought of Olivia Voldaren, but she's also a little bit easier to kill, and you're not really using your mana to ping things. You have a ton of removal, so maybe if you want to drop two of these for like 2 Olivias. Or Bloodline Keeper is also really good, but they're, like I said, easier to kill. I'd probably consider the Bloodline Keeper next, if anything. Okay, so that's the main deck. And now the sideboard was just kind of like a mishmash of things together. First, the cages hurt your deck some because you have Severs and Devil's Play when you bring them in, and also Ancient Grudges, but I think they're really necessary against the Reanimator matchups. You can pretty much lose them, although when you think about it, this deck has a ton of removal and can deal with the reanimated target pretty well, which I did not consider initially. So I would probably cut these cages or maybe cut one. Ancient Grudge seemed really good. This is a real card against you. You cannot win if they resolve this outside of having a Bloodgift Demon. It shuts down your whole deck. So Ancient Grudge would stay, I'd say, at 3, maybe upping it to 4 if you felt like that was a heavy card in your meta. Tribute surprised me. I think it's pretty good for this deck because this deck actually wants to race. However, it sucks pretty hard about when they play tokens and things like that, so that's why it's only at 2. I'd stay at 2. The 4th Sever really didn't seem necessary. But like I said, you can probably put 4 in the main instead of 4 Barter and Blood. The Rolling Tumblers were great, but remember they don't hit flyers. And the Witchbane Orbs were really, really good. I might even go up to 3 of these. So first, I'd probably cut the cage and bring in a Witchbane Orb, which I'll do now. Okay, and we're back, so I made that change. Another change I'd really consider is Appetite for Brains. I'd actually consider it so much over the cages and possibly this 4th Sever. I really like the 4th Sever, so I'm going to leave that. I'm going to cut the other 2 cages, and I think I really want 3 Appetite for Brains. The reason being that it just felt really awful playing against Control. Control just beats the crap out of you and you have no way to interact. You're also very cold to planeswalkers outside of just burning them out, but when you're burning them out, you're taking resources away from you. So I need to make one more cut. I think you have enough removal in the main deck. Like I said, the tributes weren't great. The Sever weren't great. These seem necessary because if you don't draw these early on, you kind of need these to kill things. So I'm actually going to cut the 4th Sever, and this would be the updated list. So I'm going to save it, and it's pretty much all she wrote. I felt the deck was fun. I would have liked to play it against a few more different matchups, but I think outside of maybe The main deck changes, as I said, I think the sideboard's pretty good. It covers most of your bases, and I think the main deck is pretty tight, but you might want to diversify the creature base and possibly cut this fourth bonfire for I'd say Bloodline Keeper and maybe the fourth Sever, but that's just an opinion. Or you can run, an extra creature at the 4 drop. Alright, so this is the MTG Noob. Thanks for watching, and please check out themtgnoob.com.